are back on Fresh Waves. We're speaking with Keith Pitts, cross-border shopping guru. I'm your host, Brenda Masson, and we're going to continue our discussion about cross-border shopping by having Keith walk us through a day trip to Buffalo. So we're in Toronto. I want everybody to know we are not advocating anything illegal here. This is a day of declaration, I should say.
Absolutely.
You are not hiding anything in the trunk of your car. You're not putting anything underneath the hood or underneath your vehicle.
Nope.
We're telling you to leave your marijuana here. It's illegal to cross the border with cannabis of any kind.
Of any kind.
Even if it's a cream to rub on your sore knee.
Even if it's your CBD oil or your cream or
leave
something
it
like that,
at
it all
home.
stays
so
here.
We'll start there. That all the CBD, all the cannabis stays here.
Correct.
Because it's not legal in lots of places in the States. And even if it is, it's still illegal to cross international borders with cannabis.
Correct.
So cannabis is off the table. On we go to Buffalo, Keith. How are we getting
Right.
there and what are we doing?
So I guess the first thing that I always say to people is, plan a trip to Buffalo like you would plan a trip anywhere else. I mean, you don't get up in the morning and say to your husband or to your wife, hey, I got a good idea. Let's go to Paris today. Right?
No, it requires a bit of planning.
Yeah, a bit of plan, a bit of, well, where's the flight? Where are we going? Where are we staying? We're
What
doing
time
all.
is it leaving?
Exactly. So I say if you're going to go down to Buffalo, it's not just jump in the car, go down, and then walk up and down the aisles to find a deal. Go on to the websites of the stores that you're looking for. If you're looking for shoes, go on to DSW website. If you're looking for, appliances or things like that, go on to Kohl's. Go on to these websites and see what kind of sales items that they have for the day that you're going to go.
And I think in Buffalo, shoes too is Tony Roma, a Roma store.
Yeah, there's a Roma store.
Yep, they have
that's
great
down there.
deals on
all
shoes.
All good deals. So if you're doing that, now you've got a list to take a look and say, I'm going to plan that, I'm going to drive, across the border to Buffalo. I'm going
on fumes, right?
On fumes, yeah, because you want to fill up your gas there at $2.30 a gallon. You want to get across the border and you want to say, all right, we're going to Niagara Falls Boulevard, and here's the 8 stores that we're going to, or we're going to the outlet mall, and here's the 3 stores there that we want to go to. And you've got your list of the items that you're looking to buy that are on sale in those stores.
Right.
And you've already done your comparative shopping to make sure that that item plus the 35%, okay, plus the declared 13% when you hit the border for HST
Right.
is still a better deal than what you're going to get at a Canadian store, whether that item is not on sale, or whatever from that standpoint.
Okay.
So always, as I say, always declare it. And the more organized you are when you come back across the Canadian border, the better that experience will be. So when I go across, I always have every receipt for everything that I purchased.
Right.
Okay. I always pre-add up all the numbers at the bottom and say this is what the total amount is. Mm-hmm. And I always am able to break that down by saying this is food, this is gifts, this is whatever, so that you've got that, and make it easy for the Canadian border guy to do his job and to assess that amount.
He's going to be nicer to you then, too, isn't he?
Absolutely. I mean, he doesn't want to be crawling under your car. They don't want to be pushing you over to the secondary checking spot. He wants to say, good, this is what
Thank
it
you.
is. Yeah, I'm going to
Have a
look
nice
at
day.
that. Oh, here's 4 items that are taxable. The rest of them don't worry about.
Right.
And go in and pay your $5 or $6 or $7 or whatever it is from that standpoint.
Now, we did have a listener who called in to, because you can do that. You can send us a message on Facebook at Freshwaves with Brenda Masson. You can get a hold of us and send us a message, or you can send us a message on Twitter as well and all these different kind of social media places, or just go to my website, freshwaves.ca, and drop me a line there. But we have a listener who asked, is it true that you don't have to pay duty and taxes on items that are made in the U.S.
Correct.
when you come home?
Made in the U.S., made in Canada, or made in Mexico. So still operating under that NAFTA agreement, that free trade agreement. If those items are made in those 3 countries, you do not have to pay any duties and taxes coming across the border.
Even if it's a sweater?
It makes no difference. Yeah, no difference whether. And I've had people come across with, a $400 trailer hitch that they bought for their car down the States that was made in, Michigan, and it was, $400 there and $1,200 here, and said this is a made in the U.S. item, and thank you very much. There's no duties on that item when you bring it across the border.
Wow.
Yeah, the only caveat to that is, of course, alcohol and spirits.
Okay, that's a different category.
Yeah. So if you're going across and you think you're going to buy a 2-4 of Molson Canadian and bring it across duty free, you're not going to be able to do that, okay? Because
Even though it is made in Canada.
even though it's made in Canada, but that's another misnomer as well. People say, well, don't I have to be out of the country for a certain amount of time before I can bring a bottle of wine or a bottle of liquor or something back into the country? And the fact of the matter is that every time you go across the border into the U.S., you can come back into the country with 42 liters of alcohol.
Oh my goodness, that's a lot of alcohol.
That's a lot of alcohol. That certainly is. And talk a little bit about how that works. So this is called a casual imports permit, and everybody has that. When they go across the border, you, me, whoever,
Yep.
and if there's 2 of you in the car, that means that you've got,
Times 2.
84 liters of alcohol that you can bring back into the country.
Okay.
Now, most of the people say, well, no, I see on my, my thing, I can only bring this once in, duty free. And I say, well, don't confuse the word duty free with what you can bring into the country. Duty free basically says that if you're out of the country for a certain amount of period of time, the federal government will allow you to bring an item into the country duty free, meaning that there's no duties and taxes on that item.
Right.
Most of the time, people equate that to liquor. They'll stop at the duty free store coming across the border, and they'll say, yes, I've got my bottle of vodka or my bottle of gin or whatever it is. I got 1 bottle at the duty free. Okay. But you can still have 41 liters of something else on you when you come across. Okay, under the casual imports. So let me break that down into what that kind of means as you're coming across.
Okay.
So there are 3 categories for alcohol coming across the border, and there are duties attached to them.
Okay.
There is beer, which has the lowest duty on it. Next comes wine, and finally comes spirits. Okay. So I'll talk about the most taxed one, which of course is a bottle of liquor, bottle of alcohol. So you can pick up a bottle of Smirnoff's vodka in Buffalo at the at the premium wine store or something like that for probably $10 a bottle for a 1.75 liter bottle.
Now this is not at the duty free store.
This is nowhere near the duty free. This is just shopping,
in Buffalo.
In Buffalo.
Okay.
So let's say you've paid $10 for that. When you come to the Canadian border and you declare that, there will be a conversion into Canadian dollars first, so that $10 will become $13.
Right.
Then there will be a 100% duty attached to that bottle. So that $13 bottle will now have another $13 of tax that you'll be liable for when you bring it into the country. So if we kind of use our fingers and toes math, that says I've got a $13 bottle of liquor. I'm paying $13 in tax on it. That means that bottle of liquor now costs me $26 to bring across the border and is in the back seat of my car. Well, that same bottle of liquor at the LCBO is $62.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing.
Yes. So it don't try to hide something. There's no point in hiding it. You're going to get a much better deal by bringing it across. My wife drinks J-Lore wine. She likes her J-Lore red wine that comes in, I think it's about $17.50 a bottle here at the LCBO.
Right.
We can pick that up in Buffalo for about $5.75. Okay? So when wine comes to the border, it's only a 35% duty attached to it.
Oh, not 100%.
Not 100%. It's only spirits. So now that bottle of wine ends up costing, maybe around $8 a bottle to bring that across. So we'll bring a whole case of wine back with us, and now we've got, $8 bottles of wine as opposed to $17 bottles of wine.
And on a case, that's a big savings.
That's a big, especially, if people that are doing weddings and things like that, or you're having a big party.
Or you're going to parties at Christmas, and every time you go, you seem to be taking a bottle with you.
You got to be taking a bottle of wine or something like that. Yes,
right.
Bring it back. There's no reason. So don't be afraid. 42 liters under what they call the casual imports, and you are going to save probably a minimum of 50% as opposed to buying that same item at the LCBO.
Wow. That's really crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Really crazy. Okay, so we've bought our alcohol. What are we doing about gas? Because gas is cheaper, tires are cheaper,
Service on your car is cheaper.
oil changes and things like that.
More than that, So I'll equate a story to that as well. So, at one time I needed a few years ago I needed a brake job done on my car. Mm-hmm. So I went to the local dealer here and I said, what is it to do the brake job? And I think I was quoted around $1,300 Canadian to do the brake job, front and rear brakes. Took it to one of the, not the dealer, but one of the other shops, retailers that would do, and Midas or one of those kind of things that would do brakes. And it came in at about $1,100 roughly to do that. So I got on the phone, I phoned Pep Boys down in Buffalo, and I said, here's the make, here's the model. I need front and rear brakes done. How much is it to do that? And the quote was $475. U.S. Okay, so that's about 700 Canadian, roughly. Okay, so we talked about declaring everything. So when I went down, I had the brake job done. So I'm $300 to the better in my pocket.
Right.
Okay, to get the brake job done. And then when I had it done, I said to the service manager, I said, could you give me 2 bills when you're finished? I'd like a bill for the parts, and I'd like a bill for the labor. So he said, okay. So I got a bill for $250 worth of parts and another $200 worth of labor. So what would I declare when I come back to the border?
The parts.
Just the parts. I'm not bringing the labor back with me, right?
Right.
If I go across and get a haircut, I'm not going to declare that I got a haircut. They're going to charge me. So my HST that was payable on declaring made in the U.S. parts, by the way, under NAFTA, was how much?
Nothing.
0.
Wow.
So there it is. So one little trip down, sit in there, put the car in, have the brake job done. While I'm doing that, the wife and I go over to Sears and we go over to do our shopping and wander around, buy some stuff. I come back 2.5 hours later. I've got the brake job done. We've done some shopping and I drive back into Toronto.
That's amazing.
And perfectly legal. You're doing absolutely nothing wrong in doing that.
Wow. Now, what about the snow tires?
Tires, same thing. Yeah, you can buy, go down there. There's Dunn's Tires in Buffalo. There's Tire Rack. There's a number of places down there that will cater to Canadians. Mm-hmm. And when I say cater to them, the way they do that is that you go down, you buy your new tires, and they'll put your snow tires on, and they'll take your summer tires off, and they'll store them for you for the winter. And then when you go back down in the spring, they'll change your tires back around again and store your winter tires for you.
Wow. Now, do you have to pay for the storage?
No, it's included with the cost of the tires.
That's amazing. Well, we've got more tips coming at you in just a minute. We're going to take a little break. Keith, I'm always amazed at everything you have to say, and we'll be back with more tips right after this, so stay tuned.
Hi folks, Kim Mitchell here. However you choose to get around, your ATV, your snowmobile, your boat, car, if you have a motorcycle, all these things take 100% of your attention and skill to operate safely. Alcohol impairs that, and bad things can happen. So, be smart, okay? You know what I'm going to say next.
This message brought to you from the Safe and Sober Awareness Committee.
We're back on Fresh Waves. I'm your host, Brenda Masson, and this morning we're speaking with Keith Pitts about cross-border shopping, and he is the author of 2 Sides of 49. So if you missed some of this and you'd like to have his book, he's going to tell you how to get a hold of his book and how you can find out more information and to read his blogs that he does all the time. And of course, if you miss part of this show and you'd like to hear it again, you can always go to freshwaves.ca where we podcast the shows and you can find a repeat of the show there. All right, Keith. We're running out of time in this hour. Okay. And as usual, we would like to get some of the Black Friday deals that are coming up for this year of 2019. Take it away, Keith.
Okay, yes. So Black Friday is the day after U.S. Thanksgiving, just Correct. So that you're all aware of that. And I'll talk about some items here that are near and dear and the best value. So typically, Black Friday specials are equated around the electronics marketplace, and that's where most of the deals are. So I've done a little bit of research, and now there's a store in Buffalo called BJ's, BJ's is kind of like a Costco.
Okay.
So you can go in there and you can do your shopping. The first thing you need to do is you need to go up to the service counter and you need to get a one-day pass.
Oh, you can do that?
Yes, you tell them that you're a Canadian and that you're across for the day, and they will give you a one-day pass that will
that
allow you to
something?
shop the same way that
A member would.
Same way that a member would for the day.
That's
So
something.
so
Wow.
yeah, so that's kind of good. So let's talk a little bit about some of the deals. The number one deal that BJ's has got offered is a Samsung 65-inch 4K ultra high definition smart LED TV. Okay.
Okay.
This TV normally sells in the U.S. for $799 US. That is going to be on sale for Black Friday at $479.
Yikes, that's a good sale.
So if you take that, and this TV probably is going to be about a $1,200 to $1,400 TV in Canada at that $479. Again, if you're in the market for a TV,
Right.
you're going to be saving somewhere around $300 by going south. Now, we talk about pricing, but remember too that there is no eco fees down in the U.S. either. So not only if you buy that TV at Costco or Best Buy or something here, will you pay that increased price to it and the HST on top of the price, you're also going to pay $30 to $40 to $50, depending on the size of the TV, in Ontario government eco fees.
Okay.
You don't pay them at the border.
No.
So what you do is you get your $479 TV, they translate it into Canadian dollars, you pay HST on top of that, and you bring it across and Bob's your uncle.
Wow. Okay.
We talked about the girl going down looking for the mixer
Right.
and some deals to take to weddings or something. Keurig Classic K50 single serve coffee maker that normally has a price in the U.S. of $79. Can be had for Black Friday at $49.95.
$30 off. Okay.
$30 off on that item in the U.S., which is pretty good. Other items that we can take a look at as well, as I say, TVs are the key thing, but there's, how about a computer? Anybody got somebody, that they want to get a new computer for, or they're going back to school, or they're looking for something? Well, again, you can get a Hewlett-Packard 14-inch laptop computer, dual core with 4 gigabytes of RAM, is available for $179.
Okay. So you were mentioning, or we mentioned earlier in the show, that some of these you have to go down to the States and you have to really participate in the Black Friday thing, which is a fight for, it looks like something out of an old Flintstones episode where Betty and Wilma are going off, charge, and they go rummaging through this stuff and people are punching each other in the face to try and get the best deal and grab all that's left. But you can do this from shopping in Canada. And I will tell you that last year I had to take my daughter to Cincinnati, the Cincinnati? Yeah. Oh, Cincinnati.
Ohio,
Nasty Natty, they call it. So I went down to Cincinnati, and we were there on the Monday after Black Friday.
Right.
And every single retailer that we went to in the outlet mall honored the Black Friday
Sure.
deals.
Yeah, most of
Mind
them
you,
will.
some of them weren't there.
We're sold out. Some
but
will be
at
sold out.
Fossil,
Yep.
we got watches for $50.
Yeah.
$50.
I know.
Engraved.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And only because I said to her, are you still honoring Black Friday? She said, well, I haven't put away that shelf over there, so anything on that shelf is
Yeah.
the Black Friday price, and it was 75% off.
Yeah, it's great. Well, here's another one. At Best Buy for Black Friday, air fryers. That's the big thing now. Everybody wants an air fryer.
Right.
It's how do I cut down?
Healthier,
How do
yeah.
I cut down on the amount of oil that I'm using and doing something like that? Well, Best Buy has a 3.2 liter fryer on sale for $29.95.
Wow.
Now those are probably going to cost you $119, $129 here in Canada.
I want an Instapot.
Yeah, Instapot. Yeah, exactly. So $29.95.
Okay, now is that something that you could buy from home? Or are these some items that you could buy?
You could literally
online?
you could order that online and pick it up in the store when you go.
Okay,
So you could order that off of the U.S. Best Buy website.
Right, with
and
your VPN.
With your VPN, you could go down there and you could say, "Hey, I don't have to go down. I can go down. I think you've got 10 days to go down."
Yeah, you can go
so if you
Wednesday
didn't
or
want,
Thursday when no
you
one's there.
didn't want to go on the Friday, go down the following week on the Wednesday and go into Best Buy and pick up your items.
Wow.
Another thing, Cuisinart 7 cup gold brew coffee maker. Regular $99 US, on for $39.95 US.
Now, I have a friend that actually buys stuff online, and then when she goes down, she'll be staying at a hotel or something, and she has it delivered to the hotel instead of her Canadian address,
Sure,
and just
yep.
picks it up there. Could you do the same thing, I guess, with Black Friday?
Yeah, do exactly the same thing. Or if you, if you want to, there's, I think I talked about that before. A lot of people that are frequent flyers back down to Buffalo, they're, they set up a PO box down there and have everything shipped to the PO box, and then just pick it up when they go down.
Wow. Okay, we are going to do another episode with you of Fresh Waves. And on the other episode, just so that people know, we're going to be talking about small businesses and how small businesses can benefit from cross-border shopping. And I guess that's going to be the same for a small business, isn't it? To have a P.O. box in the States somewhere and choose a border crossing that's not as busy as Niagara, perhaps, and
Yeah.
find a spot where you can go and get your stuff.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. And
So-
now dealing directly with manufacturers as opposed to dealing with retailers.
Okay. Wow. All right. So for Black Friday, then we can actually couch shop.
You can. You
Get
can
your
certainly
VPN.
Get your VPN if you're going to go on any of the store websites. Try them first. Target, Best Buy, Walmart, BJ's, as we just mentioned, those.
Right.
You can get on those sites. If you can't get on right away, use your VPN and go on. Do your comparative shopping and pick the items that you like. Pre-order them if you want to, and then go down the following week when it's not as busy and pick up all your items.
Now, what if you had a VPN that was an American VPN? So you're basically coming from an American address,
Right.
but you are shipping it home. So you're going to ship it to your Canadian address. Is there a problem with that?
The problem with shipping is now you hit the border, and now you don't have the control that you have when that's all sitting in the back seat of the car. So first off, each one of those items have to come through a broker, and there's going to be brokerage fees attached to that, probably $10, $12 per item. Depending on what the item is, there's going to be HST attached to it, regardless as to where that item comes from.
Oh, okay.
So if it's Mexican, U.S., or Canadian, you're still going to get hit with the HST, and you're going to have that increased shipping cost to Canada.
Right.
Where 99.9% of the time in the U.S., U.S. retailers will ship free to a U.S. address. There is no charge for shipping. So they say you're better off to get yourself a U.S. address, or deal with one of the UPS stores down there, or the Crossborder stores. There's many of them. You can just search those online as well, that cater to the Canadian marketplace, and go down, have all your items shipped there, go down on the following Wednesday and bring back your 20 or 30 items, declare them at the border. You've got your receipts, pay the bit of HST that you're going to have to, and then bring it across.
All right. So give us a bit of a rundown of the key things that you could, on a regular day, even if it isn't Black Friday, on a regular day that you could go down to Buffalo and buy on your day out that are going to save you money.
Shoes, number one. Okay, shoes are always much cheaper down in the U.S. Electronics are usually cheaper, again, because of the cost of the electronics item, and again, the cost of our eco fees put onto this. Power tools for the guys, paint, getting your car fixed.
Paint for your house?
Paint for your house, paint. A gallon of Behr paint down there will cost you $17, $18. That'll cost you $49, $50 here. So, big difference that. Garden, if the spring's coming and you're looking for, for garden tools and fertilizers and all those kind of things, much cheaper as well from that standpoint. So that's kind of your everyday. And again, food. There is no duty. There's no taxes on food. So if you're bringing back, you want to go down there and you want to bring back steaks, you want to bring back pork, you want to bring back chicken, you want to do
Really?
that? Yep, you can bring all that back.
I thought you weren't allowed to
Yep,
bring that
nope,
back.
you're allowed to bring it. You're not allowed to take it in. You're allowed to bring it back.
Oh my goodness. Okay, what about something like pharmaceuticals that are quite?
Over the counter, you're okay.
Yeah, over the
anything that's
counter.
over the counter, you're fine. Yeah, you can buy
I've
your
heard aspirin, like the people that are on baby aspirin.
baby
quite a lot
aspirin, things like
cheaper.
Mucinex, anything that's an allergy type of medicine is usually cheaper down there if it's an
Really?
over-the-counter medicine. And vitamins and supplements are a lot cheaper if you're going to be buying. If you're used to going to get your big thing of vitamins at Costco or something like that, you can get them much cheaper on Amazon.com or in the vitamin stores down there.
Okay, we've got just a minute left. In what way am I not ripping off a Canadian by doing this?
Well, as I said, if you have the mindset of saying that what I want to do is I'm the importer, I don't want to pay for all of those middlemen to get that same item to me here, then, go to it. It's not for everybody. A lot of people say, no, I want to frequent my local retailer, or I want to do that.
Is there not something to say about the fact that the big box stores like a Walmart or a Costco, they're all American owned anyway.
Everybody's
so
American
although
owned.
they're
Tim Hortons is American owned. So, yeah.
So although they're supporting Canadians by giving people jobs at minimum wage,
Yeah. They're probably
other than that, all the profits go back to the U.S.,
Yeah,
right?
they're probably not paying taxes here. Yeah,
Right.
they're probably not.
and all the jobs, besides the jobs, everything else, all the profits go back to the U.S.
Exactly. So, anybody, any of your listeners want some more information, go to my website, www.twosidesof49.com. That's the number 2 and the number 49.com. My blog is on there, tips and tricks all the time. And for those who want to get real serious, you can order my my book off of there as well at $16.95.
And I will tell you that the book is really worth it. Okay, that's all the time we've got for this hour of Fresh Waves. If you're interested and you are a small business owner, we will be doing another episode of Fresh Waves specifically for small business owners. So check us out, freshwaves.ca. Thanks so much for coming in, Keith.
Thanks again
we
for
really
having me. I appreciate
appreciate
it.
it.